Thanks for being here. I haven't been here for a while to see you, a couple years anyway, something like that. Time, I have found, is a little different between non-physical and physical. You talk about 17 seconds and 30 days. I have found it's a great difference between your expectation of 30 days and my expectation of 30 days.
Well, that's because we know what we're talking about and you don't. We're having fun. We're not misunderstanding your linear time. In other words, we're not misunderstanding how long something takes. It is that it is our expectation for you to find that pure vibration. And so what you're really saying is, it's harder, Abraham, than I want it to be to get into the vibration of allowing. Because how long something takes is only as long as it takes for you to stop doing that thing you do that's not letting it happen. And so it can click into place instantaneously. And you have those experiences all the time. If it's not an issue, it happens instantaneously. And time isn't a factor at all. The only time that you are even considering time or wanting to talk about time is if there's something that for a long time you've been wanting and for a long time not allowing. And now time feels like a bigger factor.
Oh, that's very true. I've been working with this allowing thing for a lot of years with you. And it seems like, I try to allow and allow and allow and allow, realizing that is the most important work of my own. And, 17 seconds goes by, and 34 seconds goes by, and 30 days goes by, and 60 days goes by, and I say, why am I not allowing this thing that I want in? And it's probably because I want it too much.
It is because you are holding yourself in step one rather than allowing yourself to trust and let it go. In other words, you are working too hard at it and therefore activating the vibration where it is. What you are speaking here is so perfect. It is exactly the reason that we are beginning to speak so powerfully about this virtual reality. Because not only you, but many want with all of their might something different from what they have relative to some subjects. But what they have is so dominant in their vibration that they can't shake loose of it. And so they just keep moving through time without shifting vibration. Esther, here's people like you, people who really, really desire things, who can't for the life of them figure out how to let loose of the vibration that is not letting it happen. And that's when she says, we can choose. I can damn well choose. And we say, yes, you can, but you got to practice choosing. And you can't start with your issues, because if you start with your issues, you drag it right into virtual reality. And now virtual reality just becomes another process of practicing how you already feel.
Why is it that we can't get a direct answer from you on how to do this allowing thing?
Because words don't teach. It is life experience that teaches. And even though we've been giving you a direct answer, you're not hearing it. It isn't that we're not answering you. It's sort of like our friend who was talking about the drugs. It's like they're getting the answers, they just can't translate them back into anything that they can relate to. And so we can give you a direct answer. Think thoughts that feel good, and everything that you want will be yours now. And you say, everything I want's not coming yet. And we say, then you're not thinking only thoughts that feel good. You must be observing some of where you are. So think only thoughts that feel good. And you say, it's not coming yet. And we say, that's because you keep noticing where you are instead of where you're wanting to be.
So virtual reality is the key.
It is. Let's do one. Take us somewhere. Pick a place that you feel pretty sure you'll feel good when you get there.
What time of year?
You get to choose everything. You're like the creator of this. So you choose the place, the time of year, the time of day, how the air feels, the temperature. Describe it to us.
Okay. I'll go to Jamaica, January. The air is about 85 degrees. It's perfect. You don't feel like wearing any clothes. And the water's perfect, too. It's about 90 degrees. You can just get in there and enjoy the waves, body surf. Everything is great. The smell is good. The people are good. You see people walking along the beach. I'm in the water. It's a wonderful feeling place to be there, to be free, to have that freedom of being there and not worrying about time, money, or anything else.
Now, you see, what happened was, we must not have been direct enough in our answer. It's a tendency, and we understand it. And Esther did about 200 virtual realities before she got right there. She would go, she would find this perfect place, she would see it, smell it, feel it, and then she would bring someone in to share it with her, and then she would try to reform them in some way. Or notice that they were trying to reform her in some way. And then she would laugh and say, I can do this, and then she'd start again. And it took a little while before she started to feel the essence of it, the reason for it, the feeling of it. So that's why we began describing in more detail. Pick a place and sort of be there for a minute. Now, you chose Jamaica. Why did you choose Jamaica?
It's warm. It's on the beach. It's something, I'm a mountain person, so it's something place different.
It just felt like a match to a place that would feel good. And then you picked January because that's a good time of year to be there. It's not so hot.
Exactly.
And so those were very good choices. And then if you'll slow down just a little bit to try to milk it for emotional responses. What we've noticed, as Esther played the game for a while, she got into a vibration where things from her past just started avalanching in. And she remembered going to Hawaii, and she remembered the first time she went there. Now, the second and third and fourth and fifth, they've gone every January for 21 years. This is the first year that they have not gone. So, every January for over 20 years, Jerry and Esther have gone to Hawaii. But when she did her virtual reality, it was only the first one that came back to her. Because it was the most poignant. It was the one that meant the most. It was the one where the expectation was the greatest. And so, she went back, she remembered seeing the water from the airplane. And then she remembered getting out and walking down the stairway onto the pavement. At that time, it did not take her right into a building. So she could feel the air and smell the air. And it was different air than she had ever felt or smelled. And as she was in her virtual reality, recalling this, waves of pleasure came all up through her, just like the anticipation that she was feeling in that moment all those years before. And then she did not go further because it was only that part of all of that that really perfectly matched the virtual reality ambiance that she'd brought herself to. She did not drag her bags through the agricultural inspection. And she did not start shedding her clothing. In other words, she was dressed way too warm. And she did not ride in the rickety bus that the motor was so out of sync that the exhaust was almost making her sick by the time they'd made the drive around the island. And so what we were getting at, there were parts of that trip that were nowhere near a vibrational match to what she was trying to achieve in her virtual reality. And if she had stayed there longer, she would have started dragging enough reality in, she would have messed up virtual reality. And we want to again reiterate that the reason for this virtual reality process is to show yourself that you can choose a vibration. It's not to show yourself that you can choose a vibration and hold it forever and ever and never deviate from it and never go back to step one. It's not to show yourself that you can be totally irrational and never face reality in any way. It's only to show yourself that you have the wherewithal to focus and achieve a vibration. And when you show yourself that, now you are on the path of deliberate creation, because that means if you can do that for 20 or 30 seconds, that you can maintain it long enough that law of attraction will activate something else within you, and then you can be like Esther has been on several of these long drives. She's maintained that connection for as long as an hour. Jerry will be sleeping or working on something else. He's in the back of the coach. Esther's driving, and she will be virtual realitying until she gets to the place that she hooks in to every positive experience that she's ever had or imagined. Yesterday, as they were driving, Jerry said, interesting enough, let's set a timer for 15 minutes. And as the timer goes off, we'll ask ourselves, where were our thoughts? And then we'll take a few seconds to just breathe deeply and appreciate. And so Esther was driving. They drove from Sedona here. And as the timer would go off, Esther was in such bliss every time because it was impossible not to feel good. They were on the open road. It's her favorite drive of all that they do. Wide open roads, very little traffic, nice smooth roads, gorgeous skies, beautiful vistas, beautiful rocks and mountains, everything about it. It was so easy. It was impossible not to be in a good place under those conditions. But every drive is not that way. Every moment in your life is not that way. And that's why you're wanting to practice when it is that way, or at least when something's not happening that's keeping it from it, so that more and more you have some measure of control no matter what is happening. It's all about practicing it. It's about setting a tone and putting law of attraction to work for you. In the same way that you would put gravity to work for you and letting water flow downstream, we're going to show you how to let law of attraction work for you.
Oh, good.
So you have it, don't you? You are understanding that you are the creator of your own experience. You are understanding that the universe is responding to you. Do you understand that every relationship that you have is your making? Do you understand that the way every person treats you is about your dominant vibration more than it is about their personality? Do you understand that if somebody is rude to you, you have evoked it? Do you understand that if somebody is kind to you, you have evoked it? Do you? It's big. Do you understand that nothing could be happening in your experience without your vibrational alignment? Do you think it's possible that you've established some vibrational patterns that served you at one time that don't serve you now? Do you think it's possible that it will ever be thus? Do you think it's possible that it's possible for you to change your vibration? Do you think it's possible for even the most uncomfortable of a relationship to be transformed to one that is comfortable? Do you think it is necessary, or do you think you can just attract other relationships? Some of both. In other words, sometimes it's easier to just attract otherwise, sometimes it's easier to transform, but always you are the one that is in charge. Jerry awakened from a dream, startled to realize that he had put every character in his dream. He gave them their personality. He gave them the words they spoke to him. He realized that in his dream, he was the creator of the dream. And we say, and so in your wake state also, you are the creator of what you are living. So when someone is unkind to you, it is because you got a vibration about that going on. So stop and laugh and say, you're helping me to be in step one. And what I'm really wanting is to rendezvous with more people who are kinder, or more people who are more appreciative of me. And then go to your virtual reality and don't think about that. Go to your virtual reality and think thoughts that feel kind to you when you think them, or feel good to you when you think them. Do you know there are only two emotions really? One feels good and one feels bad. And we give them all kinds of other names, which sometimes only serves to confuse the issue. But if you are reaching for what feels good, and you are showing yourself that you can achieve it easily, before you know it, you will be one who says, everyone treats me so well. No one is ever unkind to me. Issues I used to have with people have gone away. It's as if the entire universe is responding to everything that I want. It's as if I'm this powerful pointer, and all I have to do is say, wouldn't it be nice if, and there it is. That's what you had planned. And if you miss the struggle, you can always bring it back. But the struggle and the effort were never part of the plan that you had when you said you would come forth, define from this variety your personal intentions, trusting that all that is would satisfy them. And because from your broader non-physical perspective you understood so clearly that when you ask it is given, you never felt the responsibility of making anything happen. You only understood your responsibility of working through the mix and letting the desire be born within you. That is your responsibility, and that happens naturally. So when you start wanting to take credit for your good life, understand that a good life is a given. In other words, don't try to prove your worthiness through struggle and hard work, or through succeeding at anything other than joy. Because everything that you want is naturally given to you. You don't have to prove worthiness. You don't have to earn it. It is naturally given to you. But you do have to find this soft way of letting it in. We have enjoyed this interaction so very much. It is wonderful to visit with those like you, who are willing to share the nitty-gritty of your experience in order to help all that is express more purely into your time-space reality. There is great love here for you. We are complete.